we ready? Are we ready to talk about the news? Um,
Are we ever ready for
are we
that?
ever? Are we ever prepared? Are we? No, absolutely. Actually, let's start off. Let's start off with some light, some color. Some like uh, um, parasocial nonsense. For like, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna dox your address, Uma. Don't worry.
Yeah. I've almost doxed myself like plenty of times anyway.
No one can find. Well, no, actually, I used to be like very happily tell people what neighborhood I lived in because like most densely populated neighborhood in Berlin. I was like, come find me. Now I'm in Ireland, the country where everyone knows each other. So I'm like, no, I won't be doing that actually.
Yeah, no, no, you don't want that.
No. Um, thing I did ages ago is so I moved. It was very expensive and
Mhm.
arduous process. So my wife was like, "You need to like treat yourself to something." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she's right, as she often is. Um, and so I did. I spent
Aye,
I
aye.
spent €90 on some old Soviet watches from Ukraine.
Oh, that's fine. Like, also 90 euros is,
Yeah, for two watches. It's great.
yeah, that's not for two watches, for two vintage watches at that as
Mm.
well. That's really
Mechanical
good.
mechanical
What the hell?
watches.
Yeah,
Never need
that's
to
really good.
put in the battery. So this is it's great because it comes to like I found myself a nice reseller, a guy I trust very much from
Did
Lviv
she
and
use the Chrono 24 or something like that? What was it?
no, none of these like no, you just with the Soviet watches you really just have to like find some guy usually in Ukraine. There's a really good guy in Siberia that I know a lot of Americans use. Um, but I think with sanctions, that's made it really weird. So I'm not sure about that guy. Um,
Yeah, I would. I had to become a watch girly
yeah, watch
for.
Curly.
No, I'm not, obviously, but I don't even own a watch myself.
For
But
people at home, Uma is displaying her bare wrists.
yeah, I don't know why I did that. Like, look. But but my boyfriend loves watches, and
Mm,
I got him two vintage watches for his birthday,
oh,
and I
nice.
had to like learn what watches
Watch
are
watch
basically.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know what the mechanic quartz, like
Yep.
automatic stuff like that was. I was like, what quartz? That's like a rock. Like, what do you mean?
You're telling me there's rocks in this?
Yeah, no, literally, I thought it was like part of the decoration of the watch or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, fair. Yeah, I had to learn a little bit of this stuff because like okay, so here's the thing. This is how Kieran supports Ukraine is I spend a fair amount of money because like all like a lot of the really good stuff comes from Ukraine because I don't know. I've tried looking into getting some like East German watches. There was like a couple of East German watch brands, but I don't know. They're not speaking to me as much.
Hmm.
The Rulas, uh, um, not speaking to me as much as these watches I got. It's also worth putting out. Okay, so like I spent €90 on these, and it's a very good price. And I really strongly recommend Soviet watches because I think they're very well made. Built like fucking tanks, and yeah, but it's also worth knowing that like they're probably fake. So like, but I don't
Yeah.
question it because I support Ukraine. This is like, hey, I'm willing to be a rube to keep the money flowing in this
I
economy.
mean, yeah, I bet there's a whole like sub economy in like former Soviet states of like creating fake watches for like Western people, basically.
Yeah, the so like okay, if you want a Soviet watch with all the original parts, that's where you like pay a shit ton of money.
Hmm.
Um, what you're best looking for is what the watch community calls a Franken. There you go. It's just it's fucking. I've discovered the I've discovered the subreddit. That's like you know when someone says something about something and you're just like you've discovered the subreddit about this topic.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, Franken is that word I think for watches.
What does it
It,
even mean?
it means that it's like parts have been replaced with modern parts, but like some
Ah,
of it is
okay.
still like the original or whatever. And I
Oh,
got
like Frankenstein.
yeah, it comes from Frankenstein. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, but to be fair, in the story of Frankenstein, he was all just random
Yeah,
parts.
it was all like already fucked up, like dead parts.
There
So
was no original Frankenstein's monster that was just like, I'll just give him some new parts and he can come back. Um, I got a little Polyot
Oh, that's
watch.
pretty.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put up to the camera. It's got little
Oh, that's
green
super cool.
stripes and it's ticking away. And the other one that I'm excited about is I got a little
Oh,
Slava.
it's black.
Yeah, I got black face, gold. Um,
That's also really cool.
and this leads into also the guy's really nice. He just kind of threw in a Soviet ruble, a 1 ruble
That's
coin,
so random.
yeah, as a little treat, which I appreciate. Um, he knows his customers.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
this guy. Um, and yeah, this kind of leads into like I'm coming back to Berlin for a couple of days. I'm going to see all my friends. It's going to be very fun.
Woo.
Woo!
Yeah.
Um, and I will go to Mauer Park Flow Mart where I can get straps for these things for like a tenner.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
Oof,
So
but Malapak is so busy always. I think I
uh,
just got traumatized because I went there when it was still COVID times. So it was like
mm,
kind of quote unquote like closed off and
yeah.
they were
Uh, no, Mauer Park is like messed up.
yeah.
Because like I don't like I lived fairly close to it. Like it was a short walk. It was like a decent walk, and I went there.
It's not that short.
No, okay, it was
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Yeah, it was about
Yeah.
that. It's a good walk. Like it's not a short walk, but it's
Yeah,
a good walk.
yeah, yeah.
It's not a long walk either.
No, no,
Um,
it's the perfect walk if you want to move a little bit.
exactly. And yeah, my tip for like people who live there, like if you're a tourist, you're like compelled to go there. I guess it's just people go there. Um, if you want to go and you live in Berlin, just like not during the summer, basically, because
Oof. Huh.
it's like the exact same now during the winter, except for like when it's Christmas and they start doing the mulled wine. Um, but yeah, it's like it's not worth it to go in the summer when it's like jammers with tourists. And also, if you live closer to another flow market, go that one because it'll just be cheaper. The
Yeah,
prices at Mara
yeah.
Park are inflated, 100%.
I really like the one in Tiergarten.
Mm,
Um, it's quite well, that's not that small. It looks smaller than it actually is, and I don't know. I really like it because then there's the one in Arkona Platz or something like that in also in Prenzlauer Berg, like 5 minutes away from Mauerpark. But that's very much like I don't know, like kind of Prenzlauer Berg people go there, so everything is more expensive, and there's like curated vintage stuff and like it's just very, it's not what a market should be.
um, there is a flow march that me and my wife went to that was actually pretty impressive. Like we really liked it because it had like pretty much everything that you would get at Mauer Park, but
Hmm.
just for a lot cheaper. Like a good deal cheaper. And funnily, it was at John F. Kennedy Platz, in Schöneberg.
Schöneberg, yeah.
Yeah, where he famously said "Ich bin ein Berliner," and you can buy some cheap coat racks, and then go see a big metal face of John F.
Of
Kennedy. And
John
like,
F. Kennedy. Sorry, that just
yeah.
reminded me because I confused him for a second in my head with Reagan,
Oh
who
yeah, yeah,
said like "tear down that wall," right?
yeah. Mr. Gorbachev. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Gorbachev. And there's a new. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so giggly about this, but there's a new movie of Reagan played by Dennis Quaid, I think, or yeah,
Uh,
Dennis Quaid, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Who like looks nothing like the Reagan. But there's this whole scene that they posted on Twitter because people were just laughing their asses off at it, which is when he says, when he's making the speech, and says, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. And they build it up like it's like I don't know, like it's the Avengers assembling or something like that. Like
Yeah.
the music like builds up, and then he says it, and you see like like the his staffers in the like in the room seeing like
Yeah.
the people that work for him just being like, oh my god, no, he didn't, oh my god, like losing their shit. And then they show fucking Margaret Thatcher
Yeah.
watching it and being like, well done, my boy. And it's just like, ugh.
That's weird. Who was this
It's
movie for?
like middle-aged old like
Yeah.
Americans who pretend they're Vietnam War vets, but they're not.
Is this from a couple episodes ago a fucking American sniper movie? Where
Yeah, exactly. But like it's a period piece version of the American Sniper movie.
right. Because it strikes me as like it's going to be in like the nomination for best film at the Oscars, and like every European is going to look at them like, when was that at? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, it was
the
a very strange one.
the
And
one
also, yeah, go
the
on,
one
sorry.
film they have to put into the best film nominations at the Oscars that just like did not travel well. The one American movie that reminds you that there are Americans who just have like a taste that's so batshit the rest of the world does not watch the
Yeah, but
content they consume.
even the American Sniper one, I remember seeing ads like out and about, and
Mm,
you know, it was
yeah.
Bradley Cooper, who is very famous, and he's
Yeah.
actually like a pretty good actor. Like people make fun of him, but he's pretty good.
He is a good actor, but was that like, when was American Sniper? Was that back when he was just like, oh, it's Bradley Cooper, the guy from The Hangover?
I
And
think it
Hangover
was
2
and 3.
and 3.
I think it was a bit before
Did like we respect him
A
yet?
Star Is
Is basically
Born,
my question.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, but this Reagan movie, it's like there's almost nobody famous in it. Dennis Quaid is really not like, nobody cares about him anymore, and he's like a weirdo who supports Trump, and it's just,
Oh,
you know, like there's no ads. Like I don't think it's even gonna make it to the category on the Oscars, because like it's just,
oh yeah.
it's like a TV movie almost, you know. I mean, it's not, but
The poster looks like the poster looks like the kind of movie that, you know, like Netflix paid $10 to acquire.
exactly.
Like,
Oh my god, yeah, it's even worse than I thought.
like yeah, it's for like, yeah, it was made for like straight to TV in America, and it's like 4 years old, and then just kind of like shows up one day on Netflix, and it's just like, it's like it shows up because you were searching for something else.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. But if you see the cast, there's no one famous, properly famous, except maybe Dennis Quaid and John Voight, which both have been recently cancelled because they're horrible fucking people.
Fair.
Like John Voight said shit about his daughter Angelina. Like it's just, you know, horrible stuff. Horrible people. So like I don't know. It's a very much like I'm a Trump supporter and I love this movie kind of vibe.
Okay. As of September 24th, it's grossed 27 million worldwide. That's not great. What was the budget? 25. It has just made its money
Oh my
back.
god, that's so embarrassing.
In the United States and Canada, Reagan was released alongside. Okay, yeah. So these other films was projected to gross in the 4-day gross 2.6 its first day. Yeah, I don't. Audiences skewed older, white, and southern.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I bet you,
8% were white.
I bet you most of the millions that it made was indeed in the US. Like, there's no way.
63% of the audience were 55 years or older.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, people that pretend to be Vietnam veterans, but they're not.
Yeah. Kind of like the equivalent of like the British people who kind of like pretend they were in World War II, even though they were like way too young.
Yeah, we're not even born yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What did the director Sean McNamara? So one of ours.
Oh no, boo!
He was born in Burbank. He was born in Hollywood.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh.
Oh, this has been in development
Oh.
hell. Sean McNamara was hired to direct the biopic Ronald Reagan in 2016. So this has been in like development hell since 2016.
Jesus Christ! But also, like, look at his filmography.
Yeah, he did the third Cats and Dogs movie.
And Sister Swap, whatever that is.
I think that's a porn.
And, oh. And then like fucking 4 movies with Dennis Quaid. Like,
so this is just Dennis Quaid's guy, I think.
I know, sorry, that's Pierce Brosnan. See, I keep confusing them. No, there's like, he has 2 movies with Dennis Quaid and like 1 with Pierce Brosnan, who I always thought was Dennis Quaid. Like, I didn't know which one was which.
Yeah. My God. Yeah, it looks actually. You're right. I think this is. So I think American Sniper is like the elevated version of this. Like the American Sniper is going for the same audience, just like better, better produced, more star power attached to it, kind of thing. Because the what I'm reading so far, not great. 17% of critics gave it a positive review. So on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not doing great. However, I want to point out that Reagan, the movie, is based on a book with a slightly different name, which is The Crusader, Ronald Reagan and the Fall of Communism.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Did Franco write that? Fucking hell.
No, it was a guy called Paul Kengor. Paul G. Kengor. He has 8 children. What the fuck?
Oh, Jesus fucking
Why
Christ.
is that so prominent in his bio? Why is that like the first
What is that like not like he has a PhD in history or whatever. It's like he has 8 children.
Kengor has done work with the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Oof, yeah, that's no building with studies has a building that looks like no any building that has the word studies in its title that looks that good is evil. And
if it's funded, it's evil. Basically, in academia, if it's funded.
Yeah, because a building that usually has studies in its title should be like run down. It should have like an old kind of charm to it. But it's a bitch to heat in the winter. But like this looks like it has all the modern conveniences. This guy looks. Oh, hang on. Wait, what? He does a regular commentary for American Radio Journal, Moody Broadcasting, and Ave Maria Radio Network / thecatholicexchange.com.
I mean, after naming his fucking book The Crusader, you can, and having 8 children,
Yeah.
you can tell.
Yeah, because the book kind of lends itself to does kind of lend itself to something that video compilations often do with that Mr. Gorbachev quote,
Mm-hmm.
which is like make it look like that's what ended communism, or like the Soviet Union, if we're being specific, because like they always like whenever they do like a compilation of like the 80s or like world history, it's always like Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall, and then the next it like super cuts to like the Berlin Wall falling, and it's like no, there was actually like a 2 year 3 year gap.
Like it wasn't because of him.
No, actually there was some internal problems in the Soviet Union. It's just
Yeah,
Ronald Reagan didn't do
that's
like a speech so good like it ended a country.
that's exactly how they show it in the movie, though. Like
Yeah,
they're all like, "Oh my god, this is crazy," and
actually,
Nancy Reagan is also like, "Oh my god, I'm so proud of my husband." I don't know, it's weird as hell.
my actor husband who managed to become president.
God,
I
yeah.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better jokes from Back to the Future when Marty McFly goes back to like whatever the 50s, I guess. And it's
Yeah.
just like, and Doc Brown is like, all right, if you're the future, who's the president? It's like Ronald Reagan is like, the actor. um, yeah,
That's pretty good.
it's so stupid. Okay, I'm not like the most, you know, student of history person out there. There's a lot of history I don't know, but I'm willing to claim no one in any history ever has done a speech so well it ended a country. I don't think that's ever happened.
No, no, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Happy to be shown otherwise, though. That'd
Yeah,
be
that'd be
funny.
fucking wild. I want that story.
Yeah.
Some bullshit happened to like a vassal state on the periphery of the Ottoman Empire, and I was like, yeah, some janissary made like a real good speech, and it was like, oh well.
Yeah, and then like in fucking medieval or feudal
Yeah,
times, they would be like, "Oh yeah, okay, now we follow this guy, not the other guy, because this speech was better."
like it sounds like the era of like world history where like nations are just kind of a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that feels like when nations were their most fickle. Like, yeah, a guy
Yeah.
could come along and do a speech so well. You're like, yeah, this guy's a country. I love him.
100%. And it's exactly the history I know nothing about because I'm a contemporary one. So
contemporary history, like like this is the kind of shit that can only happen when the average diet is like dirt.
Exactly.
Like if you're lucky, you get to eat some like raw flour. All right. Hey, welcome to your weekly corner, Späti. It's
20 minutes in, Jesus Christ.
Woo! Let's talk about the news and also the smash hit 2024 coming to a box office near you, Reagan.
Yep.
It did
Blockbuster.
But it is busting blocks. The Soviet bloc. Mr. Gorbachev.
I think the worst part though is that I'm not sure it's out in Germany yet. I don't think so, but I'm like 100% sure that some of our favorite politicians will go watch it and be like, "Yes, this is cinema," like log it into their fucking what's it called, letterbox. And
the Kai Wegner letterbox.
Exactly, yeah. And just be like, this was amazing. Reagan was, a man. And, they will cry at the wall scene, whatever. It's going to be.
Yeah, because like I really like the idea. We need like more politician we need like more other politician like reaction channels, or just like even just discovering the Kai Wegner letterboxed would be great, because it would just be like you know, just Reagan 4.5 stars. Yeah, es ist gut. You know,
Yeah.
ich vor eine Stimmung, or whatever. Like, and then just like underneath, the only other review he has is for like the Palestinian Israeli movie at the Berlinale, No Other Land, and it's just like a 500-word rant about how it's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
1 star.
Yeah. He gives him vibes of, you know, that Joker review that went viral, like this happened to my buddy John or whatever. Like that's him. He's the buddy though.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I don't think, has Letterboxd even spread to Germany? Do Germans even use Letterboxd? Feels like it's a very American thing.
Well, everybody I know that uses it is an immigrant, so
Mm,
I'm not sure that it's a German thing. My brother uses it because, I mean, he doesn't live in Germany, but it's just funny. It's just I'm a very what's it called, a judgy person when somebody says that they have letterbox, because I'm such a not like, I cannot sit still for a movie unless it's like really good or really shit, you know?
yeah.
So for me, it's just like, I don't know, I have zero critical thinking skills. So I watch a movie, I'm like, yeah, that was fine. You know,
What's there?
that was good. So like, it just tires me out so much that some people are watching a movie with thinking like, what am I gonna write on the letterbox review
Yeah.
when it's done? And my brother is one of those people. I'm just like, oh, can you just not like enjoy the movie and just chill a little bit?
I guess they're enjoy. I think the
No, they
main
do. They
thing.
do. That's the whole
Yeah,
point. They do enjoy watching a movie in that way.
yeah.
I'm just too dumb to understand and enjoy that myself.
I
But
I think the only thing that would appeal to me about any of this, yeah, because like it's what Letterbox seems to offer is a lot of the features that actually were like meant to be offered with IMDb, but then
mhm,
IMDb became like an absolutely fucking cluttered mess.
yeah.
Because it's just like keeping track of what you've watched, and like having a wish list of things you want to watch in like a,
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean,
yeah. And then I want that for comics. Yeah. But anyway,
good reads, but for
I
comics.
don't want to be the person on Goodreads that's just like, yeah, I really
See,
like.
I would use Goodreads to. Well, the thing is, I wanted to use Goodreads because I'm reading a lot this year, but
Fair.
it's such a shit fucking app
Oh yeah, it's
that
terrible.
it's terrible user interface that I'm writing it down in my notes app in the end because it's so shit.
So much
They
better.
could be making so much money. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
It's just
and you know what? And do you know what the fucking thing is? It's all three of these things:
hmm.
IMDb, Goodreads. They're all like both of those. They're both owned by Amazon, and they all have like the cluttered nonsense
There you
Amazon
go.
user interface that I
There you
think
go.
Amazon doesn't realize the only reason we put up with it on Amazon is because it's the everything shop, and it's got us over a fucking barrel.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
actually, when it's entirely optional, we're just like, no, fuck this.
Exactly.
Um. Anyway, the news, Europe. Whoa.
Whee!
Yeah, we got this. There's actually, I'm very excited because a lot of fucking stupid shit happened.
I am looking at the document. It is a fun one.
I have a lengthy document. This is probably just gonna be like, I'm just gonna say it now. We're just gonna record for a real long time, and there's like we're gonna put part 2 up in the bonus feed. So hey, if you didn't know how any of this works, patreon.com/corner Späti for $5 a month or €4.50. You can get twice as many episodes of Corner Späti as you were currently having. Sometimes I feel like the need to explain the basics again, because someone pointed out to me recently that I'm very embarrassed by, but they'd been following us on Instagram for a couple of months before they even realized we were a podcast. And I was like, you know what? Fair. It actually doesn't really say anywhere in the bio or description we're a fucking podcast. So I was like, maybe I should put that in there. Anyway, if you didn't know, we have an Instagram account too. You can follow that.
Yep. It's mainly Kieran's reign over there.
Yeah, I run that. That's what I do. And then actually, yeah, PSA, people are like, try to follow my private account on Twitter, but I just have, or not Twitter, Instagram, and it's like, no, there's pictures of my daughter on here. I'm not open. No one's allowed in here.
Yeah, it's private for a reason. Yeah.
Exactly. Unlike my Twitter account, which is also private, but that you can get into that. That's no problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's two kinds of because my Instagram account is private as well, but I don't have a daughter or anybody to protect, so so I accept based on vibes, basically. Yeah. And if mainly if people I know are following the person as well. So
yeah, that's how I treat my Twitter account actually, because it's just like, oh, such and such is requested to follow you. I was like, oh, there's a Palestinian flag in the username, just allow. Or like if it's slightly suspect, I just check out their followers, and it's like, follows one of the people from Trash Future. It's probably fine. Go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. Anyway, news. Things we should mention. I'm going to keep this brief, because this is not even the real stories. These are fake stories. These are stories we're throwing at you as a distraction. Following up from our last episode on the bonus feed, as you know, Barcelona continues to be the epicenter of the backlash against tourism as a whole thing. Just like the whole idea. Protesters stormed a real estate conference in Barcelona. Yeah.
So last year, okay, first of all, are they dumb, the conference people? Like, all of this is happening, and they're like, let's just go ahead with having Barcelona as our conference place, whatever. They had it last year as well, and it was a little bit less coordinated. Like the protesters were a little less coordinated. They did go, and I remember they threw paint and colored powder on the people that were going to the conference, which was kind of funny. Well, it was very funny because some of the conference goers tried to square up to the protesters. It's just like that. How do you think that's gonna end up? And then there was a bit of clashes with the police. And this year it was more coordinated, as you said. They stormed the building, which was a government building, by the way. That it was happening. Yeah. I think. That's not good. Can't do that. I know. That's why there was more tension with the police, and there were actual clashes and beatings and stuff. But the pictures the videos from inside the building is quite funny, because they stormed it, but it was still people are working there. It's a government building, so it's like an office building, really, and they're screaming with the signs and everything, and there's just some people at their desks just well, okay.
I mean, it's really weird and it's awkward. I think I saw that footage too, but at the same time, it's also just like, if I was one of those government workers, I'd be like, well, today's a bit of a DOS day, I guess. I
would go up to my senior and be like, can we just go home?
No, you... I would personally think, like, well, we can't ask that. I don't think my manager's going to let me go home and just officially surrender the building to the protesters. But if I'm going to have to stay here and defend, the fucking castle or whatever. I'm opening Minesweeper. I'm opening Solitaire on my
Oh
computer.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I'm cracking open YouTube. I'm watching fuck, what's good on YouTube? I'm watching Mr. Beast slightly destroy himself. We'll do that. Yeah. I'm watching that one Cypriot YouTuber that became an MP. There you go.
yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we talked about the show, but did you see him talk to Russell Brand?
Ew.
It's
Russell
so
Brand needs to be put in jail, in prison. I don't even
yeah.
believe in like jail, but just put him in there. Don't let him out. Fucking weirdo. Fucking. Did you see him barefoot, like just praying on a stage? I don't know who the fuck he was talking to or why.
Oh, it was Tucker Carlson. Was it
Oh,
Tucker
fuck,
Carlson or
Jesus
Charlie
Christ.
Cook? It was either Tucker Carlson or Charlie Kirk that he was like praying on the ground with. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's
Yeah,
so
it's
weird.
miserable, rancid vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was okay. So it was very funny because it's I love these videos. I strongly recommend them because I have to look up the guy's name again because he's hang on. Where'd he go? Oh no, it's hang on. Sorry, let me get the guy's name real quick because yeah, Phidias. Yeah. Um Phidias is a very like modern YouTube guy, like very like Instagram Reels, talk to the camera. Like he is a. What I've learned recently, there's a lot of Mr. Beast knockoffs, which makes
Hmm.
sense. Mr. Beast is like the biggest YouTube channel, of course he is. But he's got the style down pat. He talks to the camera. He's relatively engaging. He's kind of like he's fairly genial. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
like if Phidias was my coworker, he'd be a decent chat or whatever. I would probably not hang out with him after work, but I wouldn't be opposed to him like being in the office. Like he would be fine. I wouldn't complain about him. He's just fair like, hey guys, you'll never guess who I'm meeting today. Phone camera turns slightly to reveal fucking jump scare moment of Russell
Ugh.
Brand showing up. Genuinely disconcerting, and Russell Brand just has the exact opposite kind of like just anything. So it's just like, okay, so here's what it is. Phidias is very good at keeping things brief and engaging. Phidias is very succinct. That is the style of these kind of like Mr. Beastitos. But like Russell Brand just is fucking highlight every word in the Google Doc and open the thesaurus tool. Just like always find the longest alternative word.
Most rancid vibes.
It's a great video because Phineas is very good at like not giving the game away at all. It's like, oh, I'm going to speak to Russell Brand. He just shows Russell Brand like, what's Russell Brand doing in this video?
Ugh.
Hilarious stuff. Anyway, good luck to all people in Barcelona. Well done. I don't know. Like, I understand why these real estate conferences happen in the city that you are like destroying. Like I get it because you're parading the investors around to kind of like, ooh, wouldn't you want to be here?
Yeah.
But like, would you not at this point like put it somewhere outside of Barcelona? Like force them to fly into Barcelona and they'll see a bit of the city on a car ride or something.
Yeah.
But like get the targets of everyone's hatred out of the city.
It's just so fucking dumb. I don't think they actually did anything to the people that were going to the conference this year like they did last year. But yeah, it's just very fucking stupid. I can't wait to see what happens with like the Mobile World Congress next year. I think it's gonna be next year. Yeah, next year. Because like all the tourism stuff really kicked off this summer, really, even if it was bad before. So maybe next year they'll do something for the Mobile World Congress. That'll be funny.
We're back. It really reads who's that British lord that the IRA killed off the coast of Sligo? Uh,
Oh, what the fuck? What was his name? He's in The Crown.
he is in The Crown.
They show his assassination.
Yeah, the ultimate example, Lord Mountbatten.
Ah, Mountbatten, yeah.
Mountbatten, yeah. The ultimate example of how like the Crown is just like complete fucking Tory propaganda, because the Crown very conspicuously leaves out that Lord Mountbatten was a nonce, was a massive pedophile.
Yep.
But like the IRA assassination that happens to Lord Mountbatten is like the sympathy is immediately removed when you're like, when you find out that he did the exact same thing the year previous. Like he went to the exact same place. He had a military schedule that he followed perfectly, and there was an assassination attempt against him just a year before. And I was like, I'm doing it again. And the boat just gets blown up. You're like, well, come on, man. What the fuck did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
It's just so fucking stupid. Anyway. But yeah, a lot of stuff about Lord Mountbatten is conveniently left out of The Crown as a TV series.
On this show, like, who was it? Charles being super sad about Mountbatten getting blown up because they were besties, but you know.
Yeah, I believe that happened, but that's probably why they did. That's probably why they didn't tell everyone that he was a pedophile, because it was like, well, this makes the current king seem a little less sympathetic and principled. Whoops. Have you ever read the FBI documents from like the 50s about Lord Mountbatten?
No. Is it just like he's a massive pedophile?
Yeah, it's like the document is basically like, this guy is like really influential in the British government, in the royal family, basically tries to like do a coup at one point within the royal family, like over Wales or some shit. I can't quite remember. Anyway, and there's the whole document is just like, he is so obviously a pedophile, and since we know it, it definitely means the Russians know it, the Soviets know it. This guy is compromised to fuck.
Oh my god, counterpoint. It wasn't the IRA, it was the FBI that killed him.
There is the conspiracy that I always heard was that because it had happened because he was doing his trip to Sligo like clockwork, because he like fetishized the military. Figuratively and literally, actually, but was also like, there was an assassination attempt against some of the IRA the year previously, and everyone was like, the sensible thing to do would have been like to stop him. The conspiracy theory is because he was like either compromised or so open to being like compromised, like such an easy target for like the like the Soviets or whatever, that like MI6 just let him die. They're just like, yeah, go back to Sligo, have fun, do the exact same shit you did last year.
Yeah, that is very, very plausible. They've done worse things, so
yeah. So it's not that like he was actively killed by like Western intelligence, but they were just like, because you'd think they'd stop him, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I actually do believe that. That makes a lot of sense, and that's one of the best things that they've ever done. Let a pedophile die. So
it's just, oh my god, it's just so fucking. It just like really undercuts the drama of the whole scene in The Crown when you just learn any and all of the context.
Oh, I know. It's such a shit scene as well. They tried. That's the thing. Like, Charles is reading this letter that Mountbatten wrote.
Yeah.
And it's the actor's voice in off, like just reading the letter, and it's just like all so sad and whatever, and it's so stupid.
Speaking of assassinations, we should probably talk about. I'm skipping ahead a little bit, and I'll circle back. But we didn't acknowledge this, but the second assassination attempt against Trump was a NAFO guy. Um, which is
Was he British?
no, he was not.
No, no, no.
But oh, interestingly, actually, there was good stories about this because like
Mm-hmm.
it forced it kind of forced a lot of like normal journalistic like places to kind of like reckon with NAFO or like the types of people that like constitutes NAFO.
Yeah.
Um, do we have to explain this actually because it's so online and it's like hasn't been really relevant for a year, but the people who got like very into defending and cheering on Ukraine online to the point of being kind of unhinged
Mm-hmm.
and almost fetishizing war basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was a part of this. He like went to try and fight in the Foreign Legion. Ukraine had to put out a statement being like, this guy was never actually officially in the Foreign Legion. He did try to apply. We rejected him because he was kind of crazy. The
Mm.
BBC then manages to interview a Norwegian woman who is like a member of the Foreign Legion. Uh, um, and they kind of like get her take on it. She was in the Norwegian military. She has like training and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's which is why they're being affected. And she like did talk about like the early days of the Foreign Legion where there was like basically no training, and
Mm-hmm.
now they've like instituted some training. If you go and join now, but she was just like, yeah, the amount of fucking nut jobs you meet, like the kind of like war tourists who come over, is real bad. Like she recounts stories of like drunk off their fucking faces in central Kiev British guys talking about um like the glory of war or
Oh my
something.
god, that's pathetic.
Yeah, and like one of the quotes the Ukrainian military has to give about this guy is, I think the exact wording was unhealthy attitude towards war.
Yeah.
Was like literally the description they gave to this guy who did the assassination attempt. Um or was planning to. He was like, I don't think he even got the attempt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fucking nuts.
I saw that as soon as his name was leaked or discovered,
Hmm.
his Twitter account was deleted by Trump. By Trump, sorry, by Musk,
Musk. Oh.
because I mean they say it was obviously a direct order from Musk, because on this Twitter account you could see that he was a Musk fanboy and like super neoliberal and like super pro
Mm,
Ukraine and a NAFO
yeah.
guy and all of that. That because obviously every time that there's been well, every time, these two times that there's been an assassination attempt on Trump, just like every time there's a school shooting or whatever, Musk and his kind of people tried to be like, oh, that was some woke mob trying to,
Yeah.
especially with obviously the Trump assassination attempts, that was just like, a trans person be trying to
Yeah.
kill Trump because of woke and da 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 da. And then it was discovered that this guy actually is a fanboy of fucking Tesla and Musk, and
Yeah.
immediately his Twitter account was deleted.
Yeah, which kind of leads to what was the collapse of NAFO, which I think I always kind of like pointed out that it was particularly the like October 7th, where
Yeah.
everyone who was kind of like united by the Ukraine flag emoji suddenly realized that they actually hold little to nothing else in common politically. Because you got a
Yeah.
lot of like Ukraine flag emoji, Palestine flag emoji people versus Ukraine flag emoji, Israel flag emoji people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and like Musk was also a divisive figure because, there was people who kind of like knew who and what Musk is and what he kind of believes and his bullshit. But then at the same time, he was kind of liked in some circles in Ukraine because of Starlink.
Oh
Um,
yeah, true. True, true, true.
the the company that's basically giving but then he also like
Them
shut it
data,
off.
right?
Yeah, it gives them Wi-Fi basically,
Oh
like from
yeah,
satellites. Um because there's been attacks on like Ukrainian infrastructure, so that's like substituted that. But then like he shut it off at one point, so people got really pissed off. And other really fun like tech journalism that I'm reading that has pointed out that actually like Starlink and Tesla as companies are doing really well right now,
yeah.
and they attribute that. I think it was Hindenburg that did this research. They attribute that to the fact that it's because Musk is personally distracted with Twitter. So
That
like
is so stupid.
the other
He's,
companies can do their fucking jobs.
I mean, yeah, yeah.
It's so
That is so on brand with
mm,
the kind of person that he has become. He's so fucking ridiculous. Did you see that now if you block someone, they can still see your tweets?
yeah, yeah.
Like, what do you mean? The
I'm
whole point is that they can't fucking find me. Like,
I have I've started posting more on my Blue Sky account. Um, because also Blue Sky has become more fun now that it's like mostly Brazilians.
but they're back. They're back on Twitter.
Are they back on Twitter?
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
after Thanos, like the snap, it's been
yeah.
reversed.
The EU is talking a real big game at the moment about banning Twitter. So like we'll see what happens. But
True.
no, it's because really fun because like there was legitimately the same time as like Brazil got banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
Blue Sky introduced video. Like you can now upload videos as a part of your like your post, and that happened at an opportune moment because then the first viral kind of like video on Blue Sky
Yeah.
was a debate from the Sao Paulo mayoral race in Brazil, where like one of the
Which,
candidates.
yes.
You've seen this, yeah. One of the candidates just gets fucking hit with a chair. It's just like, yeah, this is what the internet's meant to be.
The fucking moderator has the funniest reaction. He's just standing there like, like, what the fuck just happened?
I would do that. That's what I would do in that moment. If I was the moderator, I would freeze. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Because you're trying to be professional and you're still working, and these people are just beating each other up, and you're just like,
Deer in headlights.
yeah,
Deer in
yeah,
headlights.
exactly.
What the fuck's happening? Oh, anyway. Other quick bits of news as it takes up the whole episode. Holy shit. So we probably got to talk about like this as well, and this is like an ongoing situation, but um the pager attack that happened in Lebanon
Mhm.
by Mossad basically. um Plenty of other podcasts have talked about that in greater detail, and I'm not really going to go into it too much. Go listen to them. I do kind of agree with the statement that I've heard that it's like it is an untargeted attack that is meant to have the appearance and aesthetics of a targeted attack. There was a lot of casualties. They just set off a bunch of bombs in like random places. Don't listen to anyone defending this. Anyway, people are still figuring out how this was done.
Mhm.
Most likely explanation at this point is that it was what's referred to as supply chain intervention.
Yeah.
Because like basically these were normal pagers until they weren't.
Yeah.
Because like they
Because
were, yeah,
apparently, due to sanctions and stuff like that, they were sitting in a warehouse for 3 months before
mm,
being sent to Lebanon. That's at least what I've read. That some experts say that that's, as you say,
yeah,
that's what happened. That due to these sanctions or bureaucracy, because they were
yeah,
coming from Europe, the pagers, they were sitting in some warehouse in like a harbor for months, and that's when Israel got to them and
yeah,
put the explosives inside of them, and then patched them up
yeah,
like nothing happened, and they were sent to
yeah.
Lebanon.
So like the company in question is a Taiwanese company ultimately, and people are like, that's kind of immediately suspicious because Mossad and Taiwanese intelligence have worked together in the past on a lot of different things.
Hmm.
Um, but more relevant to this is that the factory in question was in Hungary, which my first thought immediately was just like, well, there's a big Netanyahu ally right there in the form of like the Viktor Orban
Yes.
government.
Yes, but also it was so sketchy because the offices or HQ of this factory in Hungary in Budapest,
Yeah.
it's it's just like a random office building and there's no sign that the offices are in there. Like, you know how in
Mm.
office buildings you have
And little plaques of like, yeah,
flags of
here's
the different companies that are in there. The only sign that said that this company existed in that building was a paper, like an A4 fucking paper printed that was just
mm,
what's it called?
it's like blue tacked, cell taped to the wall or something.
Taped, exactly. Taped to the
Yeah.
wall from inside, just being like
Oh.
like with the name of it.
So
But I think
basically, it
yeah.
had it took the form of a like back in 5 minutes, gone for a cigarette kind of
No,
sign.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was basically like, yeah, we exist, but we're not going to talk to
Yeah,
you, kind of
we're
thing.
not
I
gonna
don't know.
we're not gonna commit to a plaque,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It was just very, very weird. I saw the footage and I was like, "What? This is an fucking company that is hiding something for sure." You know?
They're hiding the plaque, the
Yeah,
super cool plaque that
exactly. Yeah,
explains the whole. On the plaque is written the whole plan in great detail, and if anyone sees this plaque, we're all going to jail.
exactly.
um, and then okay, so last little bit of German news that I want to deal with before we go into the main topic, which I guess is just going to be 100% on Patreon, which is going to be fun. Hey, you got to subscribe for the good stuff. Um, so the German Greens leaders, Omid Noripur and Ricarda Lang, have both resigned
Hmm.
due to the Greens eating shit in Turingen, Saxon, and Brandenburg now.
Triple threat.
Absolutely. Hey, if you've paused the episode to watch that Sao Paulo mayoral debate, that but 3 times in a row. Um, yeah, it's like they've done disastrously in both of those elections, but I think there's kind of like one thing I want to address about this that since you're still on the ground in Germany, I'm very interested in your take on this as well,
Hmm.
which is like the narrative I keep seeing in press about this defeat, or
Hmm.
like why people hate the Greens now,
Hmm.
is because they're they're too green is kind of like the explanation I've been given. Like, so to quote exactly from like the Financial Times, like one of my favorite news sources in the world, but still, the Greens faded. The Greens faded widespread voter discontent with government climate policies, especially a controversial law designed to encourage people to replace gas and oil fired boilers with heat pumps powered by renewable energy. I was like, that's a good idea. I do have a criticism of how like the German Greens have always approached their green policies, which is to like put it on the individual. The whole like you bring your renewable
Hmm.
bags, you bring the bottles back to the bottle bank. Like to be green is to like just put on a bunch of stress onto individuals and not like the government steps in or businesses do shit. It's like on you to fix it. Um, so I'm always like, that makes sense. Otherwise, people hate the Greens, but they've always been like that, or they've been like that for a very, very long time. And I'm just not entirely certain I believe this is why people hate them now.
I think it's a very simplistic way of seeing it. It's just,
Mm,
yeah, as you said, sure, people have never liked the fact that, as you said, it's very on you, right?
mm,
So you need to change this, you need to recycle, you need to do this, you. But then the companies, the factories, everything is, they're still not being regulated or regulated as much as they should. Because at the end of the day, the Greens are still very capitalistic. Obviously, they're in the system, and they're
Yeah.
not even full like socialist. Even
No.
they, but that's the thing, right? So leftist people are not actually going to vote them because besides the green laws that they want to pass, they're not socially leftist. They're not good people. So
Yeah.
obviously leftists are not going to vote for them. They're going to vote for, say, Die Linke, for example. Centrists are going to focus on SPD or right wingers on CDU or AfD. And again, yeah, what we said when we were looking at the elections in Sachsen and Thüringen, that they're not they're not right wing enough for
Yeah.
for the people that vote right wing, even if they're saying the most horrible, fucked up shit
Yeah.
lately. Because Jesus Christ, every day it's a new green politician just saying the most fucking racist, xenophobic shit you've ever heard in your life.
And it's
But
always so like it's pandering as well. It's just like I'm saying this because you fucking love this. Yeah.
exactly.
Like yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh, you want to hear this? Okay, I'm saying it. But then those people that vote AfD think, oh, but you're still not going to vote for a deportation law or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not brave enough for me. But
Yeah,
then, yeah,
we saw the last name of one of those guys who were your co-leaders. We're deeply suspicious of this because like
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think it boils down to just not having a fucking clear position when it comes to social issues and stuff like that. So they're not leftist, they're not fully right wing or like far right.
Yeah.
And then they're not even that green either because they're the ones who were okay with the fucking drilling mine shit. What was it like in
Lucerat.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like they were
Yeah.
buddies with the people that wanted to do or that were doing that.
Yeah, there's the fucking I think I also kind of wonder if like the militarism didn't play with their base as well as they thought it would.
Exactly.
Because like the 2021 debate, like before Russia invades Ukraine,
Hmm.
like the conservative press are trying to like beat the Greens like into shape basically by like constantly comparing them to Die Linke's position on NATO.
Hmm.
And like they were trying to like they were whipping them into the Greens to shape to kind of like say like, oh, don't do red green. That's
Hmm.
looking like a possibility from this election, so don't do it. And sometimes I think maybe they just got a little too into it. Like their response to that was to just like, oh yeah, we're pro NATO or whatever, and then suddenly being pro NATO was a far more like germane question.
Hmm.
Because like yeah, I'm not. I can totally imagine a Green voter who wouldn't have liked that. Like, there's a lot of green, like there's a lot of like small g green activists who are like military is the biggest carbon like emitter,
Yeah.
and shit like that. That will always bring up those kind of things. So I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think they were being too green, and that pissed people off. Is just possibly a little too simplistic.
I think so as well because yeah, exactly. That's just another example of that they're not actually being very green because
Yeah.
they're pro war, which
Mm.
yeah, exactly. It's just the what contaminates the world the most almost. And yeah, again, they alienated a lot of people with being like you do this you, but then we are not actually going to push the people, well, the companies, the
No.
entities that contaminate the most to actually do anything or change anything.
Yeah, that giant fucking like mining company that basically owns the politics
Exactly.
of North Rhine-Westphalia. We're just gonna let them keep doing that.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so like, uh, yeah, it's just really fucking stupid that this has happened to them. And I think also like to go back to like how they're trying to match the rhetoric of the AFD and talk about deportations, or at least like some of them. I'm sure there's some who are like, what the fuck are we doing? Because like
Mm-hmm.
when I first arrived in Germany, they had very successfully positioned themselves as like the officially the party of anti-racism. Like the Greens were like, if your main thing as a voter was being anti-racist, or
Mm-hmm.
like accepting that Germany was becoming this like multi-ethnic country, like the I come in after the kind of like era of German like Willkommenskultur, of like the welcoming of the Syrian refugees and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
like, if that was a big thing for you, if that was a moment for you as like a person in Germany that felt like proud to be like, that like, oh, we're human, like we are welcoming these people, we are being nice, 100% that sentiment was snapped up by the Greens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if that went anywhere politically, it was the Greens. And to watch them like become we can be AFD as well is, I think, very disheartening for a lot of people. I would imagine
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And if you want to hear the rest of this, go to Patreon right now because we've been talking for an hour. And